Four houses razed on Chinese New Year Day. Underwater lion dance roars back to life. And what is in store for the Year of the Tiger? Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Muhammad Yusuf and you're now watching TVS Nightline. Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg attended the Sarawak United People's Party SUPP 2022 Chinese New Year Open House, which was held virtually today. In his brief speech, the Chief Minister congratulated SUPP on the party's great success in the 12th state election held last year.
Fortunate that we have a very united people that give us a good mandate in the last election, and I wish to take this opportunity to congratulate SUPP for your handsome win in the last election with additional seats. And I would like to say here that this is an indication that Sarawak, with the Year of the Tiger, will definitely roar in the coming years. For us to develop Sarawak, we have our target of 2030 as a developed state with high income economy.
This Year of the Tiger is hoped to further strengthen relationships between the people of all races in the country, as well as bring prosperity and improve the well-being of the Malaysian family. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this after attending the Chinese New Year celebration organised by the Malaysian Chinese Association (MCA). He also took the opportunity to remind those celebrating to always comply with the Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs) as set out for festivities.
The Prime Minister, who was wearing a red shirt, arrived at the venue, Wisma MCA, at about 9:30 a.m., accompanied by his wife, Datin Sri Muhaini Zainal Abidin. The couple was greeted by MCA President Datuk Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong, who is also the Federal Transport Minister. Ismail Sabri then joined MCA leaders in mixing the iconic Yi Sang. The MCA Chinese New Year celebration was held with compliance to the SOPs, with guests limited to only 300 people, although the capacity of Dewan San Chun can accommodate up to 1,500 people. The ceremony was enlivened by lion dances and cultural performances. Also present were cabinet ministers, including Senior International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali, and Senior Defence Minister Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein, as well as former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak and UMNO President Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi.
Now, the relaxation of Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs) for this year's Lunar New Year gave opportunities for the Chinese community to celebrate the festive season with family members. However, the people are aware that it is still needed to be celebrated in moderation due to the concerns of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Chinese community is taking this opportunity to enjoy the celebration after it was dampened for the 2 years due to the strict SOPs put in place to curb the pandemic.
Sudah hampir 2 tahun tidak balik ke Sarawak akibat pandemik COVID. Jadi tahun ini amat gembiralah dapat balik dan tengok keluarga, meluangkan masa bersama mereka. Dan terima kasih juga kepada kerajaan kerana melonggarkan SOP dan membenarkan anak Sarawak untuk balik tanpa kekangan atau SOP yang terlalu banyaklah. Dan semoga tahun ini, tahun harimau, akan memberikan nasib dan juga kesihatan yang lebih baik kepada seluruh warga Malaysia.
Kalau compare dengan last 2 year, saya rasa tahun ini lagi rasa okey sikit. Kerana sekarang sudah boleh macam bersebayang, masih ada sikit-sikit visiting sudah. Compare last 2 year, memang kami pun rasa jagalah, memang mau jaga sendirilah. Tapi tahun ini government sudah ada kasih sikit luang untuk kami macam visiting or sebayang. Saya rasa okey lah, sangat okey lah for our Chinese traditional lah.
Although the celebration is only among the immediate family members, they are always reminded not to be negligent in complying with the SOPs.
This year, I believe everybody was so overjoyed after 2 years of lockdown. The MCO on off, and now the pandemic has more or less come to a stabilized position, especially in Sarawak and also in Malaysia. So everybody feel more secure, more comfortable to celebrate the New Year. Even though there is no open house, but I can see from last night, all the firecrackers, all the fireworks, they're all very, very overwhelming. Yeah.
After 2 years of not being able to celebrate the Chinese New Year, the joy of the celebration was extremely felt with cultural practices and traditions, even though it was celebrated in compliance with the Standard Operating Procedures (SOPs). President of Sarawak Federation of Chinese Associations (SFCA), Dato' Richard Wee, said that among the traditions that were observed were the lion dances and dinner eve gatherings among family members.
Traditionally, fireworks and firecrackers, fireworks and lion dance. If you go back to the early days, the tradition is that it is to try to chase away all the evil spirits and then try to welcome the new year with the kind of hopefully everybody will have abundance of luck and health and prosperity.
According to Wee, even though the Chinese community has different dialects and traditions, they still celebrate according to their own cultures joyfully.
As you know, in Chinese community, there are many different dialects, and then you have the Hokkien, you have the Fuchao, you have the Hakka, you have the Teochew, and all these different dialectic groups, they do have their own different traditional New Year punya itu makanan lah. And for us, the Hokkien is our family is quite traditional, and every first day of the Chinese New Year, we practice vegetarian, and we for the first day lah.
What is most expected during this Lunar New Year is the famous Ang Pao. Wee says the red-colored envelopes and also the red color itself symbolize luck and wealth in various aspects.
These are usually given to the younger generation, and it signifies good luck and also give you blessing in health and safety lah. Well, it is not compulsory, but it is encouraged. But even like what you are wearing is perfectly perfect, that color of yours is also very soothing type of pinkish red kind of thing. But I think more importantly is that they try to discourage or the older folks will not be happy if you wear too dull a color or black color or gray or dark gray and all this kind of thing that doesn't give you the right energy and the vibrant.
Now, the Year of the Tiger, in conjunction with the 2022 Chinese New Year, is seen as the year of revitalization and good luck. The tiger itself symbolizes courage and vitality and is also believed to bring strength and new spirit to society in overcoming every challenge ahead, including the COVID-19 pandemic.
Feng Shui expert Alan Koh said that this year will bring many opportunities and development to Sarawak. Alan added among the fast-growing industries are the agricultural industry, especially in the oil palm sector, as well as the petrochemical industry.
Besides these two sectors, education sector also okay, and medical, these two sectors also have been a good development. But the sector of constructions, and this one, the tourism, these two sectors will be less, slightly weaker than other sectors.
However, Alan said precautions must still be taken in the current pandemic situation.
For the bills of Feng Shui, year 2022, the years of watery tigers, I got advice. I got some opinions. Some advice. Most of the people have to take care of their own health, especially the COVID. We don't forget the COVID won't disappear from our human lives. And another thing is that the fields of constructions, investment, and this one, the tourism, all these field of sector, we need to pay more attention to do certain adjustment.
At the same time, after looking at this year's forecast, Alan was excited because this year will see abundant blessings coming to Sarawak.
So among all the states in Malaysia, among all the places in Malaysia, Sarawak will be the best in year 2022.
Hai, siapa kata makeup artis boleh jadi host? Tidak tahu kami dah bagilah host. Jadi kepada anda mesti nak tahu rancangan apakah? Jadi kami nak nunjuk dengan kita orang rancangan apa yang kami jadi host. Kepada anda di rumah, kami Odin Syam dalam rancangan yang terbaru di TVS. Kedai kita hashtag kami jual, kita beli. Love.
This is our world today. Complicated ideas, news saturation, information overload. We'll delve into the issues, break down the stories to see what matters and why it matters.
Your hands are not on the wheel and hasn't used anything. Okay, it's moving by itself. Wow. I just don't get fat.
Tahun baru Cina ini, TVS membawakan anda sebuah filem menarik lakonan Stephen Chow. Ang Ho Kam, seorang lelaki penghantar makanan, telah jatuh cinta dengan seorang gadis bernama Lily. Akan tetapi, usaha Ang untuk mencoba menawan hati gadis yang dicintainya tidak semudah yang dijangka. Dengan kemunculan Black Bear, seorang pakar seni mempertahankan diri. Dapatkah Ang memeliti hati Lily? Jangan tinggalkan Love on Delivery. Rabu, 2 Februari, 12.30 tengah hari. Istimewa Tahun Baru Cina ini di TVS saluran 122, Astro dan My TV.
My God.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Now, for this year's Chinese New Year celebration, the excitement and joy were felt on the first day of the celebration when it kick-started with lion dance performances. A visit made by TVS to a shopping center in Kuching saw a lion dance performance 2 years after all cultural forms of celebration were disallowed to curb the COVID-19 pandemic. Even so, the local visitors were willing to wait for 2 hours just to watch the lion dance performances.
Setelah 2 tahun kita tak menyambut Chinese New Year secara terbuka, dan kali ini kita bawakan kepada customer kita satu persembahan untuk semua orang nikmati untuk merasakan apa itu keseronokan pada Chinese New Year pada kali ini.
Saya berasa sangat teruja bila dapat menonton tarian lion dance tadi, sebab dah berapa tahun dah tak dapat tengok. So kali ini dapat tengok, saya bawa anak-anak dan family untuk tengok.
Happy lah, walaupun belum dapat back to normal, tapi at least budaya macam budaya Cina, kita pun sesama Sarawak, semua Malaysia, dapat nangga balik Lion Dance. Kira happy lah.
Meanwhile, for the Lion Dance troupe members, they were still able to perform the dance well, although it has been 2 years that they had not been performing.
Actually, we train every week before the Chinese New Year. MCO, then we stop the training. If not, we are training 3 days a week to make sure the fitness and the stamina will be maintained. If not, we cannot make it.
Members of the Lion Dance troupe, which consisted of 12 participants, are involved with various racial backgrounds.
Kerajaan dah benarkan memang main tapi dengan SOP. So, happy lah juga boleh main. Dah lama juga si main lah. Sebenarnya kami buat join dari sekolah menengah, dari Form 1 sampailah kini tu dah dalam 5 tahun lah.
Happy of course. Selama 2 tahun tu rasa sunyi, ada sudah apa-apa bunyi. So bila kembali tu agak happy.
Now in Kuala Lumpur, the Aquaria KLCC saw divers in vivid red and yellow lion costumes dancing and performing amid marine creatures, marking the return of an annual underwater performance that had been called off the previous year due to COVID-19 restrictions. One visitor said she had brought her 2 children to the aquarium to watch the underwater performance as she wanted to avoid crowds at the temples.
This is different because normal is not in the water because my children like to see the lion dance. Yeah, because this few years I don't want to go to temple, so I come to see the aquarium because my children also like the fish. Yeah, because if my child happy, I also happy lah. Yeah, because this got COVID, so I cannot go to any place, stay in the PJ.
Meanwhile, others were relieved at being able to welcome the new year with a temple visit alongside their families after last year's celebrations were confined to homes nationwide.
A lot happier as compared to during the lockdown period where you're alone and you do things alone. You feel very lonely, right? Now that you get to be in touch with your family, yeah, it's a lot better.
So for this year, I feel more. Even though we still keep the social distance, but however, I feel the freedom to go out and visit and do the things that I like to do.
Meanwhile, it was a bleak beginning to the Lunar New Year for 4 families staying at Taman Permai in Cebu. Their homes were destroyed by flames in an early morning fire on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Fortunately, no casualties were reported in the 1 a.m. incident. It was learned that the fire broke out at the front porch area of one of the affected homes. According to Sungai Merah Fire and Rescue Chief Abdul Muttalif Jaafar, the bomba team was alerted of the fire around 1:13 a.m.
Sejurus menerima panggilan kecemasan itu, pasukan bomba dan penyelamat Sungai Merah telah bergegas ke lokasi kejadian. Setiba di lokasi kejadian, pihak kami dapati kebakaran melibatkan sebuah kereta sedang terbakar di tempat letak kereta sebuah rumah teres 2 tingkat telah merebak ke 3 buah lagi rumah bersebelahan. Komandan operasi mengarahkan anggota menggunakan teknik pemadaman ofensif serta defensif dengan menggunakan pemadaman 1 aliran 300 kaki, 2 nozzle dan 1 aliran 200 kaki 1 nozzle air dari tangki jeneral serta sumber air pilih bomba terdekat.
One of the affected houses suffered 70% damages while another was 30% damaged. 2 other houses were partially destroyed. Earlier, the neighbors tried to extinguish the fire but their efforts were futile. The fire was contained within 1 hour and the operation ended by 3:52 a.m. The cause of the fire and the estimated losses are still under investigation. Following our recent report on the flash flood that occurred in Marudi, the Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department Bomba deployed its aerial surveillance team to monitor water levels in the district. Reports said water levels are still at a manageable level, although several areas are still submerged by floodwaters.
Hasil tinjauan pasukan bomba di Pekan Marudi dan juga pasukan udara pangkalan daripada Miri mendapati keadaan di Pekan Marudi berangsur pulih, air mulai surut dan aktiviti pun agak rancak dan kembali normal. dan kita harap keadaan ini makin baik supaya aktiviti berjalan dengan baik dan suasana pun baik.
Law also stated the water levels of the river nearby has receded, but for villages like Kampung Hilir, the water of the river nearby is still high, even though the weather is sunny. Right, an illegal logging activity in Tamin, Selangor was successfully foiled by the Sarawak Forestry Department on Monday. 7 piles of logs comprising of 717 logs of various species and sizes believed to have been taken illegally, and they were seized during the operation.
In a statement, the Sarawak Forest Department Director, Datuk Hamdin Mohamad, said an investigation paper into the matter will be opened soon. He added that his enforcement team will continue to do patrol works, be it on public holidays or on weekends. During the enforcement patrol at Mile 36, Jalan Oya, a team of 8 personnel saw a tree felling activity. The 717 logs were found to be without official tags and markings on both ends of the logs. However, the total value of the seizure could not be determined until further investigation is made. A police report has been made at the Selangor police station for further action.
Malaysia is better prepared to deal with the surge in COVID-19 cases due to the Omicron variant and protect its vulnerable group. In his tweet today, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the situation was different compared to last year, as the country is better protected now through vaccination under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program, PICK. Khairi assures that there is no need to panic, as the vaccination programs for adults, adolescents and children aged 5 to 12 are working well, and the hospital utilization rate remains under control. With more than 50% of adults and almost 70% of the elderly having received their COVID-19 booster dose, Khairi said Malaysia had every hope that it could weather the Omicron wave with carefully calibrated and proportionate measures. He reminded the public to continue adhering to the SOP and get their children to be vaccinated, as the vaccination for children aged 5 to 12 will begin this Thursday.
Amalan menderma darah mampu memupuk nilai murni dan tanggungjawab dalam diri sendiri serta masyarakat. Dengan menderma darah, ia memberikan sinar kepada mereka yang memerlukan. Berikan sokongan anda. Jadilah penderma darah.
This is our world today. Complicated ideas, news saturation, information overload. We'll delve into the issues, break down the stories to see what matters and why it matters.
Your hands are not on the wheel and hasn't used anything. Okay, moving by itself. Wow. I just don't get fat.
Kau adalah Abang Meron.
Kau bawa kami orang Aku mau keadilan dan kebenaran.
Aku ada benda pada kau dah hilang. Kalah! Aku akan pastikan kau tak tangkap dan disabitkan kesalahan atas jenayah yang kau polah kat situ. Kau yang pembunuh apa yang ganda Umi.
I'm Joanne Kampopo, Malaysia's queen of comedy, and don't forget to watch Tony Lapar on TVS Astro Channel 122 and My TV.
Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Now, onto some global update. In China, this year's Chinese New Year coincided with the Olympic Winter Games. For many Chinese staff and volunteers working at the Beijing Games, it means missing family reunions and celebration. Instead, they have made the occasion a memorable one for foreign visitors to the Olympics.
Hugh Yu, general manager at the Nanshali Condotel at the ski resort, spent the last day of the year kneading dough and preparing fillings to make traditional dumplings.
当然呢，这个在北方来讲，这个吃饺子叫团团圆圆。咱们呢也有一个这个传统的说法，叫初一的饺子，初二的面。所以呢，这个除夕为什么我们要守岁呢？就是大家这个所有的家人坐在一起，不管从哪里回来或者去到哪里，反正到最后，每一年不管多辛苦，都要回到家。 大家一起，就哪怕吃的很简单的东西，最后都要一起包个饺子，吃一顿饺子，这个就是团圆的饺子。
It was attended by residents of hotels in the closed loop in Zhangjiakou, many of whom are working for the Olympic broadcast teams televising the games. Kitchen workers wearing hairnets and visors oversaw the final preparations while waiting staff in full personal protective equipment roamed the restaurant. Despite attaining a management position after 20 years in the catering business, Yu still rolls up his sleeve to make the dumplings filled with either eggs and chives or minced pork. Under normal circumstances, he would have spent the holiday with his family, but because of the Olympics, he will have to make do with a video call.
Now, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was caught organising parties at his Downing Street residence following a report by senior civil servant Sue Gray. Johnson then made a public apology for breaching a policy he himself implemented and vowed to, quote-unquote, fix it.
Mr. Speaker, fix it. And I want to say to the people of this country, I know what the issue is. Yes, Mr. Speaker, yes. It's whether this government can be trusted to deliver. And I say, Mr. Speaker, yes, we can be trusted. Yes, we can be trusted to deliver.
The investigation by Gray highlighted serious failures of leadership and judgment at the heart of the government and condemned such behaviour as difficult to justify.
And I'm sorry for the things we simply didn't get right, and also sorry for the way that this matter has been handled. And it's no use saying that this or that was within the rules, and it's no use saying that people were working hard. This pandemic was hard for everyone. We asked people across this country to make the most extraordinary sacrifices, not to meet loved ones, not to visit relatives before they died. And I understand the anger that people feel. But, Mr. Speaker, it isn't enough to say sorry. This is a moment when we must look at ourselves in the mirror and we must learn.
According to Gray's report, some events at Number 10 during the pandemic should not have taken place. But to avoid prejudice on the ongoing police investigation into the matter, which could take months, Gray said she could not offer a meaningful report. Hence, only a portion of her text has been released. To this, Johnson is prioritizing to fix the Number 10.
That it is time not just to review the civil service and special advisor codes of conduct wherever necessary, to ensure that they take account of Sue Gray's recommendations, but also to make sure that those codes are properly enforced.
Catherine Roper, the commander overseeing the police investigation, said they will contact individuals who were involved with the party.
And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. For more news update, you can follow us on our social media at TVSTVMY on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Once again, my name is Muhammad Yusuf. Kongsi Fachai. Good night.